What's up YouTube, I'm DIY Guy. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to change the blade in your miter saw or compound miter saw. In this case I have a Craftsman compound miter saw and I just need to change the blade. I actually haven't done it on this unit at all since I bought it, and I have done dozens of projects. I've finished my basement all the way to the trim with this unit and this specific blade, and before I get into the trim work I want to have a nice sharp fine blade that I use. So first thing that you're going to need is a wrench of some sort. You can use a crescent wrench, or in this case I just need a 1/2 inch wrench and I'll be good to go. You also need your blade, and for this one I'm going to be using a 60 tooth fine blade, just something that'll work good for trim. I could have gone with a little bit finer of a blade, but this one was cheaper, so I like to keep things on the cheap. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that you're going to want to make sure of, and absolutely you need to make sure of, is that you are unplugged. If you're not unplugged and you're doing anything with a blade on a power tool, you are asking for problems. So anyway, make sure you're unplugged. Second thing, if we can get a shot in here, you can see this guy right here is what we need to loosen. So I'm using the 1/2 inch. It's a perfect fit. Now this is one of those instances where you would think righty tighty lefty loosey, but it's actually the opposite when you're doing these blades. So a lot of times you're going to have a lock on here, and I'll show you the lock. What you need to do is push the lock down, and when your lock is engaged and you're holding your flap, and you're going to want to make sure that you kind of hold this thing out of the way. A lot of times you can lock them. This one I'm just going to hold out of the way. Then you want to make sure that your lock is engaged, and then like I said before, you think it's righty tighty lefty loosey, but it's the opposite. I'm actually going to go to the right. I got it locked, and you got to put a little pressure on it. It's going to feel weird, but once it finally gives, and you can loosen it up. Pretty simple and straightforward. Just keep on getting it loose there. And it's a pretty long screw. You can see there, we just pop it straight out. Sometimes you got to kind of guide it out. And then always be careful when handling the blade, especially a new one, because it's very sharp. We're going to be putting this one in. I'm going to do the same thing. Just putting it back in. And then just remember, it's the opposite way that you would normally think to tighten it. So now we're going to get it on there tight. Just be very careful around the blade. Make sure that your button is locked. And that, in a nutshell, is how you change the blade on your miter saw. And pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Obviously, it can be very dangerous if you're not smart, so be smart and continue doing it yourself. Alright, I'm DIY Guy. Make sure you subscribe to my videos. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching.